First bit of news, quite close to home. There was a big crash in Ilkley Crit, which is a bike race in Ilkley in England. And one of our friends crashed, and we've just posted a video about his bike. Mm-hmm. And it's fairly relevant because in that video, he talks about, basically, our friend Harry built a bike almost exclusively from parts from AliExpress. The frame, okay, the only parts that weren't were like the crankset and the handlebars at the time. There were some data ones. Pretty much everything else, on the tyres, pretty much everything else was from AliExpress. No, the stem was an AliExpress stem, which cracked after, like 2 or 3 weeks. So he had to replace that with a 3T one. Anyway, he put together a bike. He raced it for 2 years. He's done 20,000 miles on it. He came back to the studio to do an update on that bike. We talked about it, went through all the parts. He was saying how the wheels that he got, which are made by Elite Wheels, 20,000 miles on them. They were carbon clinchers, and the brake track had worn away, basically, and started going concave, and the brakes weren't working that well. Carried on racing it. And we'll put the clip in the podcast. Oh my.
I saw it on Instagram, and it is a fantastic crash. Harry is fine, so we can laugh at it.
It's loud, isn't it?
Yeah.
He hits thankfully, the organisers of the crit put hay bales on the corners, which they do for a lot of crits. UK crits, they tend to be quite technical. I don't know if this one was, I never raced Ilkley, but it was wet. He was on rim brakes, carbon wheels. We know even when they're new, not the best thing in the wet. And he crashed pretty hard into a barrier.
Straight in as well.
Straight into a barrier.
Just no slowing down at all. Do we know if it was his fault or the fault of the bike?
My gut is the wheels.
If he knows that he had already trashed the wheels, then I'm going to say that's user error.
Yeah.
And 20,000 miles is a lot. I don't know how long a carbon rimmed wheel should last.
Well, they vary, but this is why good carbon rim brake wheels were so expensive and are still expensive. Like a good set is really expensive. So if you go for cheaper options, they're not made as well, and the brake track just obviously delaminates, and then you're in trouble. Rob, carbon expert, the guy who does all the bike repair for Carbon Bike Repair, I've got a clip of him talking about in fact, it's a video that we posted, 8 things that shouldn't ever be made of carbon fiber. And he honestly believes rim brake surfaces shouldn't be made of carbon. So,
if I'm not mistaken, alloy braking tracks do also wear down.
Oh, yeah, much more slowly.
I've never worn down a set of...
Oh, I have. We used to have carbon racing wheels when everything was rim brake, carbon racing wheels, and then alloy training wheels, which is less of a thing now because everyone's on discs, so they're not like ruining their nice carbon wheels for winter. However, we would still get through a set of
disc brakes rather than disc wheels. You mean
disc brakes,
not double disc wheels when you're racing.
No, but you'd still wear through them pretty quick.
Really?
Yeah, because it's just
surely not pretty quick.
Yeah, but doing 20 hours a week in winter in England.
I guess winter is a large contract.
We get two winters out of them. Really? That's still a lot of money to spend. Yeah.
Maybe I changed my wheels too much.
Yeah, multiple sets. I mean, when I was racing it was on a shoestring. You one set of okay carbon wheels, one set of crappy wheels, one bike. And it was only until I got onto teams where you'd have maybe have 2 bikes, and that was a big luxury. So yeah, you'd get through stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to hear that Harry Mack is not injured.
He's okay.
But
I don't know if the bike's all right, but he needed a new one anyway.
He shouldn't have been racing those wheels.
No.
So it's his fault.
Yeah. Ultimately, it is your responsibility to check your equipment, and you can't just blame it all on the wheel brand. Other carbon wheels from bigger manufacturers, I'm sure, wear out as well. 20,000 miles is a long way. That's a long way, especially in gritty conditions.
It is, but that does say to me that really highlights how much I do not want carbon rim brakes anymore. Like I don't want to buy a set of wheels and them to wear out at some point. I want them to last. And that is a massive plus for disc brakes.
Yeah, totally. Going back to, I mean, I have a rim brake bike. One of the Scots is rim brake, and that has carbon rim brakes on.
Yeah.
Carbon wheels. They don't perform very well, and they're brand new. Within reason, you know, I've probably done 300 miles on it.
Yeah.
And they're not very good, but
then
you have a taste of how powerful discs are, and then you go back to that, and then you realize how much difference it was. Whereas when we were racing, it's just a done thing. Everyone was on carbon wheels. Everyone had the same lag. If it was raining, everyone has that delay where you have to sort of clean off the first layer of water, and then they bite.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to them now is a bit of a shock.